You're so articulate. I can't believe you've explained it all so well. You have not failed. You are being an amazing parent. Kirsty says, this caller is bringing me to tears. You're not going to give up on her, are you?
Absolutely not. I'm like a bulldog with a bone here. I'm just as a well-respected human being and a woman in this world. So
you're a star.
Now, is this fantastic LBC caller an amazing star? Now, her name is Lisa, and she's talking about a situation with her stepdaughter and the misinformation that she's posting on TikTok. And this was on the 16th of August 2024, which, if I remember rightly, was on a Friday.
I've been wanting to phone you every time you've sort of mentioned this subject. My stepdaughter, who's just turned 18, a couple of days after the election, luckily, has been completely radicalised just purely from TikTok, Instagram. Her views now are they just drive me absolutely up the wall. We've actually had times when she said, can I pop round for dinner? And we've said, oh, no, we're busy, because we just think we can't listen to what she's
her dad feels the same way that you feel.
Oh yeah, he's so disappointed, and we both just think, what did we do wrong? Where did we, how did this happen? Because it's literally just been in the last year or so.
And what is it that she's fallen for? What is the?
There's too many people here.
Right.
People that are brown are raping everybody, and just horrific. She thinks that Labour is bringing in shisha law, which she said to me yesterday.
Shisha. Yeah. Well, it was Sharia last week. Not Sharia, Shakira last week.
Yeah, she has called it Shakira as well.
Right.
Yeah. When I've asked her what's that about, we try and ask her question. We try and use your tactic when, rather than getting agitated with her.
Yes.
We try and say to her, okay, well, what do you think of this? Or, or where do you think that came from? And she just ends up in going, oh, you've just been like, Labour have got to you. You voted Labour, so you just don't understand. You don't, she won't have any of it.
Did it come out of nowhere? I mean, did it literally come from nowhere? Or can you see signs of it when you look back over her childhood?
Not at all. I mean, I brought her up since she was 11.
Right.
She was very into the Black Lives Matter movement when she was at school, and very into, women matter as much as men.
Yes.
She wouldn't tolerate misogyny, which is great. I don't either, and I wanted her to definitely learn that. And she's gone completely the other way, even with that. She even said the other day, you should have hit me, Dad should have hit me. I believe that if a woman is wrong, she should be hit.
That's Andrew Tate territory, I think.
Yeah, she's just gone completely the opposite way, and there's been no other influences
except TikTok. What faces? You don't have to tell me, but what sort of people is she? I've mentioned
Nigel Farage.
Really?
Nigel Farage, Trump. Yeah. She just reposts, and I think what happens with the algorithm, you see one thing, and then I've actually looked on her TikTok, and I was just disgusted because it was her younger brother that said, have you seen her TikTok?
Right.
He's 14, and luckily he thinks she's just crazy. So because I said to him, don't watch Andrew Tate, and I'm trying to teach him the right thing as well. And luckily he hasn't gone down that same path, but he's seen what she's reposting. And as are her friends and his friends. She said she's met a guy who works in the army, and she likes him because he's racist. I said, well, then, I'm pretty sure we won't like him then.
That's just extraordinary. And I think I'm about to say people listening might struggle to fully grasp, but I'm one of them, actually, is that it's an entirely online process. Entirely, 100% online.
Yeah, 100%. She doesn't get it from us. Luckily, although my family are a lot older, I've got a nan in a care home. She was brilliant when I was growing up. She remembers when people were brought over and how badly they were treated. Right. She was, so unracist, and so were my parents. I was really lucky, and I grew up in the 90s, and there was almost, my brothers had, black friends, Asian friends. They were a bit older, and I grew up just completely opposite to this. So now that this is happening, I I feel frustrated on a daily basis. I feel just,
and there's nothing you
when
can
the
do.
riots are happening. And
you tried and tried and tried. She
was going to go to the riots, and I said, I swear to God, I will lock you in this house. She didn't, luckily. I think it was a lot of all talk, but
I mean, that's the point about the fella in the army and stuff like that, because some of it you could chalk up as her deliberately trying to upset you and deliberately trying to,
and she does do that without
wind
doubt,
you up, which is a teenage tradition, isn't it? But she
absolutely.
also means it.
Yes, there are times when we have to try and choose where she's poking us, and where she's going to a point where we have to do our best to educate her and steer her. Like my partner, he's worked for government for the last 20 years or so. Yeah. He's really well educated. I like to think I am slightly.
Sure.
I've definitely become more political since listening to you. We came to your last book event.
Gosh.
We're really open-minded. We like travelling. We've got our own business, so we just deal with lots of networking. We try and show her.
And if people like you can have this experience, I mean, the process by which someone who hasn't got adults looking out for them, parents or step-parents looking out for them and caring for them, can end up doing things that would have got them sent to jail this week is suddenly, for me at least, 10 times easier to understand.
If we had been the same and saying,
egging her on, encouraging her, agreeing with her.
She I think the only time I've got really upset with her was when she said that my grandparents, which all of them have passed away other than my nan, who has dementia now and she's 96, and she's just my world, and she said, they would be disgusted with you voting Labour because they fought for their country and etc. And that's the only time I've lost my temper slightly, saying, all my grandparents loved everybody and they were very... Yeah, and because they told us that people from all different backgrounds fought with them in the war.
And do we know, final question, a lot of love coming in for you, actually, for what it's worth, Lisa, but is there a starting point? Is there a moment where you can, I doubt there is, but I'm going to ask you anyway, a kind of tipping point where you feel the decline began? Yes,
so we I'm not going to lie, we had a bit of trouble with, a bit of mental health, but more, and I'm sorry to say this, but we've been through a lot to get to this point, but a lot of it was crying wolf.
Okay.
And we dealt with it as best we could. She's gone on the attack quite a lot physically and mentally.
Right.
With her mother's very narcissistical.
Okay.
And unfortunately, she does show traits of the same. We've both read a lot of books now. We're trying to educate ourselves to deal with it in the best way, because she is his daughter. She's my stepdaughter that I bring up, and I love her to pieces, even though she isn't mine. She is mine, if that makes sense.
Of course it does.
And I feel like I failed, and he feels like he's failed. Sorry, I'm getting a little bit.
You haven't failed.
And it was at a point where we said to her, please, you need to sort this out. You can't keep hitting out at us.
Right.
She unfortunately said a boy had touched her when he didn't. We had all of that. And we said, if you need to sort it out, otherwise, you're out. And she said, fine, I'll go. And that was the sort of turning point, which we kind of blame ourselves for, but we couldn't put up
carry on. You couldn't carry on doing what you were doing. You had to, so then unravelling how much of this is done to hurt you, and how far into her consciousness the hate has actually progressed is probably impossible to do now.
Yeah, and she has the mindset of it's everybody else's fault. Yeah. It's never my fault, and she does hate what's happening in her life a lot. She, in any failures, her driving test that she failed, it was my husband-to-be's fault.
Right.
It was my fault for not. It's everybody else's fault. So,
which is the perfect.
When she hears the immigrants, when
there
she
you
hears,
go. You said it. Yeah.
Here's an immigrant. They're taking away your job that you want. Which isn't the case at all. She just about scraped through her GCSEs through us kicking her into it, you know,
Sure.
sort of thing.
But the people suggesting everything you want that you haven't got has been taken by the people in the hotel or the people in the mosque or the people in the...
Yeah. And if you're
thingies.
having a bad day, it's because of that person over there, or because of your parents there, or because of that person there. They're taking your money, they're taking your life away. And she's the perfect person to fall for it, with narcissistical behaviour as well. She's just gone,
I'm going to read...
Seeing someone like Trump,
it just fits. You're so articulate. I can't believe you've explained it all so calmly. But I'm going to read
I'm incredibly dyslexic as well, so that means a lot to me.
Well, I'm not kidding. I do this for a living. You told that story in an absolutely extraordinary way. And I'll read you some of the responses. Jake writes, "You have not failed. You are being an amazing parent." Kirsty says, "This caller is bringing me to tears. What an amazing stepmom she is. I really hope she can reach her daughter." That's from Kirsty. Remy says, "These poor parents, they seem more equipped than most, and you can hear the pain and exhaustion in their voices, so evident." I love Lisa. She's done a brilliant job. And there's a lot of that coming in, Lisa. An awful lot.
I won't lie to you. We really have. We came from an era where my parents haven't been brilliant. My partner, my husband to be. I actually phoned you when you said about parents being not married or parents divorced, you know, and you said, "Did it put you off marriage?" And I said yes, and then he proposed to me a month later. So we got engaged last year, just literally after that. And I was like, "No, I don't want to get married. I don't believe in it anymore," you know. But we're now going to get married next year. So
you deserve a bit of happiness, don't you?
I hope so. And that did actually pull the kids together, and they feel they are more secure. So we're hoping that we can.
You're not going to give up on her, are you?
Do our best. Absolutely not. I'm like a bulldog with a bone here. I'm going to make sure she turns out as a well-respected human being and a woman in this world. So
you're a star. Thank you, Lisa. And you take care as well.
I wish Lisa and her partner every success and happiness for the future, and I hope that they can reach their stepdaughter too and turn her around, because I think she's an absolute amazing star. I think she's absolutely brilliant. But that must be soul-destroying, absolutely soul-destroying to watch, you know, your stepdaughter or people that you loved self-destructing like that and listening to the likes of Farage and Trump. Really, them two. But anyway, I have a question. Do you have any friends who proper down this rabbit hole of misinformation? Are they listening to the likes of Farage and Trump? Yeah, I've one or two, and my God, it is hard work sometimes. But anyway, I'm just going to ask you, if you do, let me know down below. And I'll just leave the video, so I'll just bid you farewell and take care, my friends.